think he's absolutely entitled to be celebrating that last-minute winner. But we're told still that there will be no way back for Axel Disasi. Everybody's very, very excited about what this young kid could do. Hi and welcome to Sun Sports Chelsea YouTube channel. My name's Dan King, I'm the Chelsea correspondent for The Sun, and I'm here for this week's edition of the Chelsea Files. Every week we bring you the news and views behind what's going on at Stamford Bridge, at Cobham Training Ground and the wider Chelsea world. And I think there's no better place to start this week, and I'm sure Chelsea fans will agree with having a little bit of a look back again at the remarkable late win over Liverpool, and specifically the dismissal of Enzo Maresca for his celebrations. Now look, I think everyone agrees that we hate the way that the passion is being taken out of the game by VAR, and then with people being punished, you know, in this case a manager for their celebrations and getting carried away in the heat of the moment. That's what football's all about. That's why we all love it. So that always seems a shame to me that people are being booked for that kind of thing. But we have to say, first of all, they are at least being consistent in this area of officiating, because just the previous weekend, Fabian Hürzeler, the head coach at Brighton, he was booked for his celebrations in Brighton's win at Stamford Bridge. So it's kind of fair enough. We know the rules. And in fact, as we know, Maresca's going to be missing from the dugout for the next Premier League game at Nottingham Forest. With suspension, and he has been suspended once before as Chelsea manager for picking up three yellow cards. And guess what the last of those yellow cards was for? You guessed it, celebrating a stoppage time winner, in that case Pedro Neto's goal at Fulham last April, and that then meant that he missed that Maresca missed the Everton game. But overall, he's never actually been shown a red card before as a coach in England. So you have to go back 9 years to find Enzo Maresca's last red card in October 2016, and that was when he was in what turned out to be the final season of his playing career. Very hard done by there, but can't really have any complaints by the letter of the law about getting that second yellow card against Liverpool. I think it was more broadly, it was a really good and big moment for Maresca. As I said, you know, he was booked for his celebrations against Fulham back in April, but this was, you know, arguably the biggest win of his Chelsea career, you know, league-wise anyway, over a Liverpool team who, although they hadn't been playing well, had up until the previous weekend won all their matches. But I think he's absolutely entitled to be celebrating that last-minute winner, because it was, you know, it's a really, really big moment and has sent the club into this international break on a real high. And I think just things like that will just help him not win over, but help get him get a better feeling between him and the fans. Because there have been times where, you know, they were singing, you know, "We've got our Chelsea back" for a while last season, but there have been other times where, both in the stadium and on the message board, Chelsea fans have not been particularly happy with the team and with the style of play, even when they've been winning. So I think this kind of show of passion will really play into building that relationship between Maresca and the fans, which will be, you know, a very positive one. We can't talk about last Saturday without also mentioning Willian Estevao and that goal. I mean, he was already the darling of Stamford Bridge, but that's really put a seal on it. I think everybody's very, very excited about what this young kid could do. He's still only 18. He's just, you know, playing in for the first time in Europe, and we've already elsewhere you can find on the Sun online website and on the Chelsea pages a bit of analysis that shows just statistically that Estevao per 90 minutes is already Chelsea's most effective winger. But he's not just a hero on the pitch, he's got a bit of a hero off it as well. Although he's still only 18, he is in the process of setting up the Willian Estevao Institute in his old hometown of Franca in Sao Paulo. The plan is that this centre will provide things like English courses, teaching in the arts, even dance, for up to 3,000 kids, free of charge. They're looking to start building early next year with a completion date of around the end of 2027. So it's a really worthy project. I think it's worth remembering that although we know these players have been paid, you know, huge sums of money, that a lot of them, you know, in fact the vast majority do give a lot back either to the local community via the Chelsea Foundation and so on, or in this case with Willian to the place which brought him up. So that's a real credit to him off the field, as well as his exciting form on the field. In terms of young players, another one who obviously didn't catch the eye quite so much in the Liverpool game because he didn't make it off the bench is Landon Emanalo. Now, it wasn't the first time that the son of the former sporting director at Chelsea, Michael Emanalo, has been on the bench. He was there in Warsaw for the second leg of the quarter-final of the Conference League last year, but that was very much a game or a tie that Chelsea had already won because they were 3-0 up. So Maresca took quite a few youngsters to that game. But for him to be on the bench for what was Chelsea's biggest game of the season against Liverpool last Saturday does tell you quite a bit about the good progress that he is making. Yes, of course, there are injuries and on Saturday's case also suspensions which have led to this opportunity for him to sit on the bench for the first time in his Premier League. But by all accounts, he has really, really earned it. He's actually grown up as a midfielder, and that's a position I actually saw him play in for the second half of the pre-season friendly at Bromley, and he definitely caught the eye there. He's got a great engine, and most of all his awareness. The way he checked his shoulder and knew when to hold the ball and knew when he could turn and go. That was really, really impressive. But what's happened this season is that he's been playing mostly at left back. He was never present for the under-21 team in Premier League 2 until the weekend, until he had to join up with the first team, and he'd started at left back every time. Similarly, in the UEFA Youth League, both games at left back, and even for England under-17 in a couple of games he's played, he's been at left back too. Previously, he has even also filled in at centre back, and it's that kind of versatility which is going to really help him, I think, not just this season, but in the future. We know, because we've seen it already with so many injuries with Chelsea, that this is probably going to keep happening, and they're going to need players who, at short notice, can fill in different positions, and Emanalo can definitely do that. He's still only 17 years old, only signed his pro contract earlier this year, but he's definitely one to watch. Football is very much in his genes. It's not just his dad, Michael, who, of course, was a Nigerian international who played at the 1994 World Cup. His mum also, Erin Faye, as she was a goalkeeper, and she played for the very first professional team in Washington, for the first professional team in the USA in Washington when she was younger. They have 3 sons, Michael and Erin, and Landon is the middle one. The eldest son, 19-year-old Sebastian, is a brilliant basketball player. He has spent quite a lot of time training and being educated in Australia, but he's now a freshman at university in Maryland, as well as being a GB Youth International basketball player. So there's great sporting genes and great achievement, but it'll be very interesting to see whether Emanalo, and indeed others, but particularly Emanalo, whether he gets his chance and actually makes his first team debut sooner rather than later. With the games coming thick and fast, Carabao Cup to come and then FA Cup at the turn of the year, it will be, I'd put decent money on him being given his chance. He's impressed training with the first team, and he was there on the bench on Saturday. And by a happy coincidence, Michael Emanalo, who is now the sporting director of the Saudi Pro League, he just happened to be in town on business, so was able to attend the game, see his son on the bench, not get off the bench, but see him on the bench. Proud moment for his first Premier League game, and then he flew back to Riyadh on Sunday. So things are falling into place nicely there. In terms of former academy graduates, Andreas Christensen remains true blue. It seems the Danish defender was found on social media watching the Chelsea-Liverpool game on his phone on his way to Barcelona's game against Sevilla. Unfortunately, things did not go quite so well for Christensen and Barcelona as they did for Chelsea, because they got beat 4-1 in a pretty surprise result, although everyone knows, of course, how solid Sevilla have been for a number of years. Elsewhere in the files, despite all the injuries, and the latest ones were Josh Ajampong and Benoit Badiashile on Saturday, who both had to go off. Precautions, we were told by the assistant coach, Willy Caballero, but we'll have to see that. And also we've seen Reece James, of course, withdraw from the England squad, but again, we're told that that's only a minor issue. However, even if these turn out to be more serious issues, we're told still that there will be no way back for Axel Disasi. Now, both Disasi and Raheem Sterling are in Chelsea's Premier League squad, so that suggests that if there comes a real proper emergency, they want them there just in case they need them. But as things stand at the moment, we haven't reached that emergency yet, and Disasi and Sterling will continue training apart and waiting for what they hope will be a move in January. That's pretty much all this week of the files. Do have a look at the full article that you can find online with a link from this page, where you can also find out more details of what's happening on Saturday, when the Chelsea legends will take on the Liverpool legends, hoping to complete a double over the Reds in the last week. Sun Sport will be there and filming both the build-up and after the game, when what should be a great occasion, because Chelsea have got a very strong team out. And if you have a look at the article, you'll see just the array of stars from Eden Hazard onwards who are going to be taking part in that game on Saturday. So thanks again for joining us for the Chelsea Files on the Sunsport Chelsea YouTube channel. Please click and subscribe and leave comments, and we will see you again soon.